Yeah, we are presenting about the policy directions of government about developing the capacity of SME operators to make them competitive domestically and globally. Yeah, presenting this paper on behalf of the acting permanent secretary who wished to have been here, but due to other commitments, she asked me to make it. So we did it together. Thank you. What are SMEs? This has largely been already discussed, but to recap, these are small and medium enterprises, and the definition typically based on employees, sales, and assets. And according to UBOS and the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Policy of 2015, they are defined as my colleagues have already done so. So now micro is less than 4 employees, small is between 549, and medium 50 to 100. Total assets, they are already, as you can see. Why focus on MSMEs? Largely because they are recognized as the engine of growth for the economic development of Uganda and indeed the world at large. They employ over 50% of the workers globally. In Uganda, it is over 2.5 million, and the number increases definitely daily. MSMEs largely dominate the private sector. Over 90% of the private sector in Uganda are SMEs. And they contribute 20% of the GDP, and the growth may raise earnings of many households. So almost every household is encouraged to start a business. How they say Uganda is an entrepreneurial country, easy to start a business, all the systems have been put in place, still challenges are still there, and you can see laws and regulations, policies, institutional, and other attitudinal challenges. Limited access to affordable finance, as has already been alluded to, limited information and access to markets, productivity and structural limitations, knowledge, skills, practices, financial management, and all that. Then this, of course, leads to the low competitiveness of the SME sector. Rapid technological changes, including the ICTs. So we are now talking of the 4th industrial revolution. 3rd is already in passing, but I think we are still trying to see how we can catch up. So all these cause serious challenges to SMEs. So what are the policy discussions, the policy directions for MSMEs growth and competitiveness? From the government perspective, definitely we provide enabling environment. So we want to make sure that the SMEs can thrive, can compete, and therefore the economy can grow. So in terms of laws and regulations, we've done some reforms. The Honorable PS of ICT mentioned some of those, but key to us here is the Uganda Investment Code 2019, as amended. It introduced the one-stop center, and this brings together all other government arms that facilitate investment. We have the registration of business reforms, introduction of online procedures. URA has already mentioned a number of procedures they have, which are really good for the SMEs. Currently, it takes 3 days to obtain a certificate of incorporation, 2 working days to obtain investment license, 1 day for trading license. Surely, these are good for the startups Then what next? The government has approved the Cooperative Societies Amendment Act 2019 because SMEs, we encourage them to operate in the cooperatives mode, and we had to amend the act. So quite a lot was done, and we need to really internalize these acts. Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Act, and a number of acts that have been done. In terms of policies, government has put in place a number of policies, and keys to make the sector competitive are the infrastructure development policies. The National ICT Policy 2014, that came in, and a lot has already been talked about. The National Electronic Government Policy Framework, Spectrum for Uganda. I think here we are looking at all those as they were talking about the data system, registration systems, the Uganda e-government regulation by NITA, NITA-U, Data Protection and Privacy Act. The data centers are being developed now. So you can see that the policies, we start with policies, we go to laws, and then we go to implementation. So all these are now getting into implementation. What we need to do is to internalize them and see how we can utilize them. The ICT investment by government, this is just a continuation of what has already been talked about. I don't want to spend time there. The e-government infrastructure, this has already helped even URA in their systems. Application of ICT tools. Now, for us as government to make sure that we facilitate the private sector to operate properly, all these have to be applied. And a lot has already been talked about in URA. Ministry of Trade also has the Trade Information Portal where you can get all the information you need, whether it is you want to be in import or you want to export your products. All the procedures that you need to go through is already online. You can get them. The e-tax, e-single window, I think all these have been talked about. The one-stop center, digital prepayment systems. So all these are application tools that really are there to facilitate the sector. The national electrification agenda, you need electricity if the SMEs have to process, have to add value, or have even to access their digital procedures. And the electricity distribution lines to rural and peri-urban areas. This has provided reliable power supply and has stimulated business growth. Use of ICTs in enhancing transport systems, controlling and monitoring traffic flows. I think we all appreciate what we see in our new road networks, and this helps much as the main roads still need to be worked upon. But the progress, I think, can be easily seen. Financial institutions, the innovations there, you can see the ATMs, the mobile money, agent banking, all these simplify the transactions of the sector. Online banking, we appreciate what EcoBank is doing, and other banks have already joined. Then I come to the business industrial technology parks and business and technology incubators. UIA talked about that, and all those are facilities to support the industrialization process, to reduce transaction costs and support the creation of new innovative ventures. Yes, we agree that the process may appear to be slow, but we are on road to work on it. Institutional and business development policies. First was infrastructure, now this is on institutional. Of course, we have created the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations to support the startups, the innovators, those who want to really in the ICT, in the digital arena. The government created Directorate of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, Ministry of Trade, where I am. We have the Uganda Development Corporation, which invests in areas that appear to be difficult for the private sector, or partners with the private sector in order to support the local economic development. The Department of Trade, Industry, and Local Economic Development has been created at district level. All districts now have this department. Previously, we had agricultural production, and it was largely being considering agriculture, but whatever you produce, you need to sell, you need to reach the market. That department has been created, and it reaches to the rural areas. The ministry approved the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy and the implementation strategy. I know quite a lot is still being worked upon, standards and all that, but this helps to add value to the local content. Local economic development policy and rural industrialization program, these have just been added on our line of policies to make sure that the MSMEs can really benefit from these programs. Facilitating access to affordable finance. We know that all these are challenges that hinder the development of SMEs. So when we are developing policies, we make sure that we consider such. And therefore, the government put in place the Microfinance Support Center to make sure that they can enhance the SMEs or those who really wish to get financing. There is also the agricultural credit facility in the Bank of Uganda. These agricultural insurance schemes, all these are there. Then, of course, promotion of circles. Because we know that SMEs, as individuals, they might not manage to compete or penetrate these markets. So we encourage the groups or individuals to come and work in groups, in cooperatives, or savings and credit. Through development and commercial banks, by providing affordable financial products. Yes, we know most of our commercial banks have provided products, financial products for SMEs. The other challenge, of course, is that the interest rates are still very high, but I think it depends on the negotiations that some affordable products are being provided. The key here is the increasing productivity, business skills, and practices. Once all these have been put in place, the infrastructure is in place, the financing, assuming is in place, what next? I think we need to really do the real training, mentorship, okay, to make sure that these people understand the business sector. So there are these programs, the skilling youth and training programs initiated by His Excellency the President. We have entrepreneurship development initiatives provided by most of our institutions. Capacity building, customized training and mentorship, again, in the processes, in the production activities. Together with our development partners, we are implementing a number of productivity improvement programs to support MSMEs, like this one of skilling program in the Private Sector Foundation in Uganda, supported by World Bank. We have the Creative Perspectives, Business Development by GIZ, Switch Africa Green Program under European Union. All these are programs that help the SMEs to improve on their productivity and therefore reduce on their costs. Facilitating access to markets. A number of policies have been put in place. The Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, construction of border export zones, aiming at strategically positioning Uganda to harness regional market opportunities. Of course, we are member of the regional blocs, the ESC, the COMESA, and now the African Continental Free Trade Area. Then we are now developing the universal product barcode for Uganda to prepare our products to compete within the regional blocs and others. In conclusion, we see that MSMEs are recognized. Everybody now appreciates that, globally or nationally, and they account for the highest number of registered companies. And therefore, they need to foster their development, competitiveness, and growth. Some recommendations: mindset change to adapt learning to learn approach. Doing business definitely is a learning and learning approach. You can never stop learning because every other day new things come up. There's need for more awareness creation. All these policies have been put in place and other systems, but we need to really make sure that the sector internalize these policies. Need for more tax incentives and insurance products. Most of our SMEs, they face a lot of risks, and because they are not aware of how they can go about it. So we really feel like the insurance schemes, the insurance organizations, we need to partner to make sure that people really understand these things, especially those who are in the rural areas. Creation of digital platform as MSME forum. The ministry is coordinating the creation of this forum so that all that we are talking about can be brought together and understood. There's need to strengthen the triple helix approach, and this is the interaction between government, academia, and the business community. Research has to be done because all these without research, so we need to make use of academia as the business community. For the government, we need to really make sure that the policies and strategies that have been put in place and can be easily understood. I thank you very much.